Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. It's been a minute, well, maybe a week since I posted a video. I've been kind of out of commission, a bit sick, and my voice is still coming back. But given the events going on in the world and in this country, I thought I'd, you know, take a minute from my urban assault vehicle and comment on that. And this is going to be about Trump, our Constitution, the Second Amendment, of course, and Israel. And they're all related. They're all related. So let me talk about Trump for a minute, because there are people losing their shit over the president. And they all have different reasons, but most of them are people whose goals are not being met and are being destroyed. And these are the progressive left folks, whether it has to do with immigration, whether it has to do with so-called gay rights, because there is no such thing, if it has to do with people being armed in public, if it has to do with whether or not we should take some kind of action to protect Israel, or as a subset support Israel. First, when people say the American people fill in the blanks, that is never about all of the American people. Never. That has never been true. It has never been true in any country around any issue. Never. Now, as far as the president and the presidency, all Americans need to understand that this person, who is the president of the United States, and he is the president of all of the people in the United States, whether you like it or not, and sometimes whether he likes it or not, okay? He won fair and square, blew out the Electoral College and the popular vote. That has never happened for a Republican in, I can't remember, right? Ever. What that means is that the majority, the overwhelming majority of the people of America want what he promised to do. What did he promise to do? Well, he promised to fix immigration, or deal with immigration and harden the border. He promised to deal with the Second Amendment and the rights of Americans to be armed in public. He promised to defend Israel, several other things. And he has been all about doing that. One of the reasons is he only has 4 years to get it done. So he is moving with maximum enthusiasm and maximum speed. That has shocked a lot of people, and it has made a lot of people angry because he's moving so fast. Frankly, I like that. He needs to move fast, right? Because there's too many other people trying to get in the way of what he is trying to do. Now, let's talk about the Second Amendment for a minute. That is a constitutional right. It is a constitutional right for all Americans. Whether a person wants to use that right or not is up to them. But all Americans have that right. It's not like the president is saying, I'm going to harden or support the Second Amendment, but only for MAGA people, or only for white males, or only for white supremacists, or only for fill in the fucking blanks of the people that you want to associate. You want to associate only with those that you don't like. The largest demographic of people who are becoming armed citizens are black females, then other surprising minority folks who are now saying, oh shit, I can be armed to defend myself against, right? Not commit crimes against, but to defend myself against. And that is taken off like crazy in this country. And as people as people know that they can defend themselves, they calm down because they're no longer afraid of being taken over. They're no longer afraid of being bullied into particular points of view. The stunning consequence of that is that those people are becoming more conservative, which makes total sense, right? The entire administration that has responsibility for anything that has to do with the Second Amendment has been flipped on its head with specific orders to support the Second Amendment. So you have Department of Justice, you have ATF, you have all of those folks changing their positions, even in court, to now argue for the Second Amendment rather than against it. What's going to happen? Well, what's happening now and what should happen soon, hopefully by 4th of July, is we will have the ability to buy suppressors without going through a bunch of bullshit. We will have the ability to have rifles less than 16-inch barrels without doing stupid shit, just like any other firearm. That is going to be wonderful. And it is dismantling the anti-Second Amendment, anti-armed citizen movement that has been dominant in this country for over 100 years. So I'm ecstatic that that is happening. There are those that think that certain people should not be armed in public. Well, who gets to decide? You certainly don't. You certainly don't. So everyone, if you're not a criminal, can be an armed citizen. Now, if you misbehave with that right, then just like anything else, you're going to have criminal punishment. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But what about the children, mass shootings and all that stuff? Hey, you know how to fix mass shootings? You know how to fix that, right? Get rid of all these spear, chuckle, jungle monies down there in the neighborhood from shooting themselves, put them in jail, let other armed citizens shoot them, kill them when they're robbing, to stop and rob, kill them when they do a carjacking, and then you cut that off. I mean, that you do. You do. So I'm not worried about that. I'm happy. Let's talk about immigration. It's not immigration. It's illegal immigration. What part of illegal don't you get? If you come to this country illegally, I don't give a shit why. I don't care. I don't care if you don't come into somebody's house saying, I want to live in your house because I don't like my house. Go fix your house. I don't care if somebody says, well, I want a better life. Well, if you can't make a better life in the country that you live in, sucks to be you. Now, you can immigrate into this country just like anybody else, but there are rules to do that just like for anybody else. But to force your way in like has been allowed, and then to say, because I broke the law and have been here for 10 years or 15 years or whatever, and I have a family, and now you caught me, and therefore I shouldn't be punished, sorry, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. I'm tired. Tired of people coming in here and saying, well, the kids, the husbands, the wives, the family. You came here illegally, and now the consequence is, and for those of you who want to come in here illegally, if you have kids in this country and you came in here illegally, you're going to go and you're going to have to take your kids with you, right? If your parents die and you're not here legally, then you're going to have to go. It just sucks to be you. That's just the way it should be. You don't come in somebody's house and then squat there and then expect to be covered by the law. So the activities that are going on with ICE and that kind of thing I'm okay with that. Now there are two ways ICE is doing that, right? One is they have criminal warrants going after people in businesses and so inside businesses, which they can do, but they need a warrant to do that. They can, which surprised me, they can snatch people in public without a warrant. Yeah. They don't need a warrant to snatch somebody in public. Now, there's due process, but weirdly, it's after the fact. So they can't just deport somebody. They have to confirm that that person is or is not a citizen or whatever their immigration or visa status is. But we have millions of people that just overstayed their visa, and nobody did anything about it. Well, now it's being done. Now it's being done. And the consequence of that, and the people that don't like this number, May of 2024, the catch and release numbers at the southern border was approximately 65,000 in May. Those are people that were caught at the border and released inside the country. They're still illegal, but they were released inside the country. The number of same people, same rules that happened in May 2025, that was just last month, the number is zero. Zero. Understand that, zero. Now, there's some people that don't believe that. Well, fuck you. I'm not asking you to believe shit. Go to the website, go to the ICE data, and that's where the reports are. If you believe that the government is cooking the books, well, that's illogical. That's illogical, makes no sense. Because that means that you will only believe the information that you agree with. And that's just fucking stupid. So the emphasis on getting rid of people that shouldn't be in this country is a good thing. Now let's talk about Israel for a minute. Nobody wants the U.S. to go into a boots on the ground kind of war. We never do, right? We never have agreement. I'll give you an example that's kind of related where people disagree. Women's suffrage. People think that 100% of all women in the U.S. agreed that they should have the vote. Almost half the women did not agree with that. Go check the data. Almost half the women in the United States did not agree that they should have the right to vote. That kind of blew me away when I found that shit out. Like, okay, that's like saying half of all the people that were black and slaves felt they should stay slaves. However, there were black slave owners. That is true. And I know, well, I don't know because I wasn't there, but I can surmise that they did not want to lose their slaves. Black slave owners, I cannot believe, ever were abolitionists. I might be incorrect, but my brain just can't get over that would not make any sense. World War I and World War II, the American people were not in agreement for World War II until Pearl Harbor. And then we all got pissed, and that got us into World War II. The conflicts in the Middle East, some say were misguided. I agree with that. I think we should have learned from the Soviets / Russians, but it was the Soviets at the time, that Afghanistan was a losing proposition. But the people that we elected said, we're going to do it. And it's the same thing with DS1, DS2. Well, DS1 protect Kuwait because it was invaded by Iraq. Well, the Kuwaitis they wrote the check. The Kuwaiti government paid the United States. So the United States was basically mercenaries for Kuwaitis. Yeah, 450,000 mercenaries from America went in and fucked up Iraq, right? I'm down with that. Let somebody else pay for it. Today, however, we're talking about Israel. And if you don't agree with this, then I don't know what to say. Iran is the worst curse on the planet because it is the key sponsor of terrorism around the world, and especially in the Middle East. It is also the worst implementation of Islam, and that's only because it is the truest implementation of Islam. Don't get me started on that. And its goal is to eradicate not just a country, but a people. That is government-sponsored genocide. The last time that happened on this planet in my lifetime was the final solution from Hitler and the Nazis. And oh by the way, in the 20s, or not the 20s, but after that, I mean during that time, the so-called Palestinian Mufti guy wanted to do the final solution in what was in the Palestinian area. It wasn't Palestine. There was no country called that, but it was that same area. He wanted to have mobile trucks that were gases, that were gas chambers, and round up Jews and kill them the way Hitler did, right? So people have been trying to exterminate the Jews for centuries. And now we have a country whose doctrine is to do just that. Well, no. And I agree with McCain when he said, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. He was right then, and we are right now. So I'm not in the security room or, that place that the president goes with his people, but we at least need to eliminate that final nuclear site that they have, Kunduz, if I didn't pronounce it right. That we need the MOP, the maximum penetrator bomb, 30,000 pound bomb. We need to do that, and that takes that out. But we're not done yet. That would be it for us. Then the Iranian government, because they still got, 200,000-300,000 soldiers, right? They will then launch whatever's remaining of their ballistic missiles at American assets in the area. And if they do that, then we will pretty much destroy the country. We'll pretty much destroy Iran. Sucks to be civilians, but you're gonna die as a result of your government attacking us like that. And that's just the way war is. Don't be showing fucking dead babies and shit, because I don't care. What happens after that? The thing that concerns me, and this is pure speculation. If Iran was intent on building a nuke, I have to believe that they were also intent and have built chemical weapons. I can't tell you what type. And the only reason they have not released that is because the consequence to their surrounding neighbors would be terrible. They'd be killing their friends in a lot of cases. However, this is a martyr, death-based culture in Iran. At least the theocracy in the government is. And they want nothing more than to die for their country. And then they don't have any problem in killing their own people as a result. They have no compunction in doing that. So that concerns me, that they would then launch chemical weapons at everybody. The final act of defiance, if you've seen that cartoon. They're going to die and they're going to take everybody else with them, kind of thing. That's a concern. But, I get to have my concern, and hopefully the people that are being paid and we voted for are thinking about scenarios like that. They have no idea. So those are my thoughts. It's got stream of consciousness kind of stuff, but I had to get it out of my head. And I know this has been a long video, and I hope you listen to all of it. You know, if you like the content and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon and all that stuff. And as I say, as I always say, wherever you can, whenever you can, however you can, carry on.